Welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel. I'm now answering question number 20 from the October-November 2023 Cambridge 0580 IGCSE paper, variant paper 2, variant 3. And here we have this, these three brackets that when you expand the brackets, you end up with these as your, terms. You have 2x cubed plus bx squared plus cx minus 18. We want to find what the value of a, b, and c are. So if you think about this one, there's something missing from the question and there's something missing from the answer. So you have to think a bit carefully about this. So this is 2x cubed plus bx squared plus cx minus 18. Now, a quick way of answering this question is to think to yourself, I want to find what this number is here. Okay, this is the constant here. Now, this constant, if I multiply it by 2 and by 3, that's how I'm going to get the negative 18. That negative 18 is the result of this times that. Okay, that's the only way you're going to get the constant there, right? So we could say that a times 2 times 3 must give us negative 18. So that's 6a equals negative 18. So we can say a is equal to negative 3. So once we know a is negative 3, then we can say our brackets are x minus 3, x plus 2, and 2x plus 3. Okay, so we have our brackets, 2x plus 3. Okay, now, for the rest of it, to find b and c, we can do things by expanding the whole thing out and simplifying and combining the like terms and finding out what we get for b and what we get for c. Or we could use our brains a little bit. Okay, so the long way of doing this would be to actually expand it. So I'll show you both ways. Most people would, once they found a, if they figured out how to find a, they would take this and they would just expand the whole thing. Like for example, they would multiply these two brackets together, which gives you x squared plus 2x minus 3x, which is minus x minus 6, which you could also do using the pattern because you have just 1x and 1x. So you're going to have x squared plus the sum of these two, which is minus x, and then the difference of those two, which is minus 6, times 2x plus 3. And then they would actually expand, each term, the whole thing now. So x squared times 2x, 2x cubed. X squared times 3, 3x squared. Then the minus x's turn times 2x is minus 2x squared, and minus x times 3 minus 3x, and then minus 6 times 2x minus 12x, and minus 6 times plus 3 is minus 18. Okay, so we end up with, if we combine the like terms, 2x cubed plus x squared minus 15x minus 18. So we can see that the coefficient of x squared is b, which is going to be 1. So b equals 1. We know a is the number that we found already, which was negative 3. That was inside the bracket. And we also have to find what c is. C is the coefficient of x, which is going to be negative 15. And those are the solutions for that by expanding fully. Now, a quicker way of doing this, okay, maybe a bit more of a sensible way of doing this, would be to think we have x plus a times x. Oh yeah, we now know what that is. X minus 3 times x plus 2 times 2x plus 3. And we can look at the terms we're looking for, which are the x squared term, and we're looking for the x term. Okay, so we look for the coefficient of x squared and the coefficient of x. Now, if you think about this in a logical way, the x squared term will be a result of multiplying an x from one bracket and an x from the other bracket and the 2x and then the constant from the other bracket. X times 3. So you're going to have x times 3. That's going to give you x squared term. You'll also get an x squared term by doing minus 3 times x times 2x. So you'll have minus 3 times x times 2x. Minus 3 times x times 2x. You'll have x squared, so you want two x's from two brackets, and the other one has to be a constant. And the final way of doing it is if you take the x from the first and the last and take the constant from the middle one. So you have x times, so you have plus x times 2 times 2x. So that's going to give you 3x squared. And that's going to give you minus 6x squared. And that's going to give you plus 4x squared. Okay, x times 2 times 2x. X times 2 times 2x. So that gives you altogether x squared. So that's going to give you x squared, 1x squared. As we saw, we had 1x squared. That's the coefficient of x squared, which is going to be b. So we can say b equals 1. Okay, so we found the same thing by doing this. And for the x term, that means we're going to have an x from one of the brackets multiplied by the numbers or the constants from the other two. That's how you end up with just x. So you have x times 2 times 3. So I'll have x times 2 times 2. I'll write it like this to make it clearer. Then you're going to have negative 3 times, let's take the x from the middle bracket this time, x times, we're going to have positive 3. Okay, so you have minus 3 times x times plus 3. So we're only taking 1x from each bracket. And the last one would be considering the x from the last bracket. So we'll have constant and constant times x. So you'll have minus 3 times 2 times 2x. And that should give us our x squared term. So this is going to give you, as our x term, sorry. So 6x minus 9x, and that's minus 12x. Yeah, minus 12x. So that will give you what? You can say 6 minus 9 is minus 3, minus 3x, minus 12x is minus 15x, which is exactly what we got for the x term. Okay, so we end up with, that means c is equal to negative 15. So we end up with the answers negative 3, 1, and negative 15. So there's two ways of doing it. Both of them actually, I think both of these would be very similar in terms of how long it takes you. It might be more, you might be more familiar with this method, but that's an alternative way, especially if you're only asked to find one particular term. Okay, then this makes it a bit easier instead of expanding the whole thing. So having that understanding is something that will be useful for you as well. So that's why I wanted to explain it this way as well, although the standard way of doing it would be this. Okay, so first of all, to find what a is, you know that this minus 18 is a result of the constant from one bracket times the constant from another bracket times the constant from the third bracket. No x is involved at all because you have minus 18. So 6a equals minus 18, a is negative 3. And then the rest you can just expand as we showed here, or we can do a very similar thing, thinking about the x squared coefficient and the x coefficient. So that concludes question number 20 from this paper. Other questions from this particular paper can be found in the playlist that will appear over here. Other questions involving algebraic manipulation, expanding brackets from IGCSE can be found in the playlist that will appear over here. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on this link. Okay, and if you want to watch a video that tells you how to use the channel to find things that you're interested in, you can click on the video that shows up at the end of the top. Thank you for watching and see you soon.